I'm here with Carolyn, wearing the Yes We Can. I have not seen that before. So you're out here. I saw you animated with the Trumpers. To you, why Kamala Harris? More importantly, I assume, why not Trump?
Yeah, absolutely not Trump because of so many reasons. The first being the reversal of Roe v. Wade. And that, to me, is enough to disqualify him. But there are so many reasons. The immigrant ban, the wall. I'm a Latino American, fourth generation American, but I have, a love for people from Mexico and South America that should not be treated the way he's treated them and banned them, and also the Muslim ban. He's just a xenophobic monster. And so for so many reasons, it's a vote against him, but yes, a vote for Kamala Harris, because I feel it's long overdue that we have a female president, especially with the reversal of Roe v. Wade. We have a lot of angry women because Hillary was not elected. And so now I feel it's time. It's really time. And she is from California. I live in California. So she's a native, and I think she's been a fabulous attorney general, senator, and vice president. So I'm excited, and I'm nervous because I'm in Pennsylvania. We just happened to be visiting here. It was just kind of a fluke, but a bit nervous that I'm in this swing state, but I'm seeing both sides, and so far there's peace.
What do you say, because you said you're a Latino American, a lot of immigration rights groups, a lot of immigration activists were not happy that she is supporting Biden's bill, the bipartisan bill that they say is actually moving towards Trump, not the wall, but is a lot tougher and actually stops and slows down immigration. She's supporting that. Right.
Well, I think there needs to be some kind of immigration reform. There has to be some control, right? Sorry, I'm distracted with Trump behind me.
Aren't we all?
But anyhow, yeah, so there has to be some control on how many immigrants enter the country, but not to the point where they are separating family and imprisoning. It has to be a humanitarian process. So I believe there has to be some control, but at the same time, humanitarian control.
Do you have a problem that border crossings have gone down significantly under Biden, including refugees?
Do I have a problem with it? No, there really has to be some control, and to me, it's also the treatment of the immigrants. I'm sorry, Trump behind me is distracting, but yes, there should be some control, but humanitarian treatment of immigrants, and there should be immigration reform. There should be a way to become a path to citizenship for the ones that are here. He's for mass deportation, millions, and that's a ridiculous thing, especially in California. If they deported every illegal immigrant in California, our economy would collapse. The California economy, which is the 10th largest economy.
Fifth in the world.
Fifth in the world, then. I thought it was the 10th, so I'm wrong. He's correcting me, and I'm a Californian. But yes, it would collapse. The economy would collapse.
Let me ask you about Roe v. Wade, which I completely agree with you. One thing that bothers me, Democrats had 30 years to codify Roe v. Wade. Under Obama, they had a near supermajority. What are you hearing from, I get that she's where you are on the principle, but what is she going to actually do to codify Roe v. Wade into law? I'm not hearing from her what she would actually do to reverse it.
It would be very difficult to reverse it because you would have to get, the supermajority.
Supermajority.
There would have to be a supermajority.
And she could remove the filibuster.
Removing the filibuster would be difficult. It would be great if it could be done. We would have to get the Senate, both the House and the Senate.
There's majority support for it in America. Why don't you think she will do it?
I hope she will do it. I hope it can happen. It's going to be difficult, but I hope it can happen because that's what we need to do. It needs to be codified. Because state by state, and as you know, there's many states that it's on the ballot, which is actually good. Some of the swing states, I believe, have it on the ballot, Arizona. That would help, I think.
But I guess what I'm asking is, it doesn't bother you that she doesn't go beyond being against the overturning of Roe v. Wade. She doesn't actually have a plan to reverse it. It's one thing to be right on the principle, but I'm not hearing a plan to reverse it. And she could come out and say, I'm against the filibuster, I want to reverse it. The filibuster's not in the Constitution. Biden's just kind of an old fogey who is for it. Don't you want to hear from her, I'm going to take steps to reverse the filibuster, because they have reversed the filibuster on things like the debt ceiling and other things.
I think it's a fine line. You know, she's walking a tightrope because she has to appeal to both sides. She has to appeal to independents and people who don't want to reverse the filibuster. So I guess that's the hard part, is the fine line to get elected. And especially as a woman, there's so many things that are going against her. She's a woman of color. She is a woman. She's a Democrat, a fairly liberal Democrat, progressive. So it's a fine line. If she just said probably what was in her heart, like when Obama was running, I think he was for gay marriage, but he couldn't say it because he was running.
Isn't that about just courage and political leadership? Yeah. Actually sticking your neck out there?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I also feel he came out for it in his second term, which was still kind of dicey, that he came out with it for gay marriage in his second term, and was reelected, you know, in spite of it. So again, it's a fine line. Politics is a fine line.
Do you have any issue with, I mean, it's both sides, but I mean the money that these politicians, including Harris, billionaires. I mean, she's raised a lot of money from billionaires. Biden infamously told Wall Street people nothing will fundamentally change. He reversed himself on a $15 minimum wage. He reversed himself on a public option. She's reversed herself on several policies she ran on in 2019. That's what people kind of hate about politicians. Like, they just kind of flip-flop and reverse themselves. Do you have an issue with how much money she's taking from, you know, billionaires, Wall Street, special interests? I mean, Trump is too. But do you have any problem with how much money they're taking? Because people just feel like that's why we're getting crumbs, because they're serving their donors, not the American people.
No, because I think so much of her fundraising has come from small donors like me. I've put in $20, whatever I can. When she first came out, I think most of the millions that she raised in that first week, when she came out as a candidate, was in small donations.
I can tell you she's raised hundreds of millions from big donations.
Yeah, but I think what it is that the big donors are there. The big donors are always going to be there, and they were waiting for her, for another candidate other than Biden.
It's a good thing for a democracy, for politicians to be basically purchased by big donors, because a lot of people, including me, say that's why we don't have Medicare for all. That's why we don't have free college. That's why we don't have so many things that other countries that are less wealthy than us have, because we're run by donors who don't want those things.
I don't think so. I think the free college thing Biden was trying to make happen, but then, you know, what it is the Republican House. If we're stopped by Republicans in Congress, it's very hard to pass these kind of laws by helping out students and
Biden wasn't trying to make college free. He was talking about canceling debt that is $10,000 worth.
Canceling debt, yes, and I agree that we should have at least a junior college, free for all. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm more of a, I would be considered a progressive socialist, where I believe that when you lift the poor, you lift everybody. And so that, yes, in a perfect world, but I feel like start where you can. You know, when it comes to politics, I feel that you know, the candidates kind of do need to be. A Democrat needs to be right of left. I'm sorry, left of center. A Republican, right of center. Right.
My last question. You mentioned obviously it's time for a woman president. I'd personally love to see that. My question is, what do you say to the people that say, yeah, I'd love a woman president, but you shouldn't just be voting because she's a woman. We need the right woman. Do you think, you know, a lot of people say, I would love a woman president, but I'm not for her because of X, Y, Z. Do you think there's anything to people shouldn't vote for her just because they want a woman president?
No, I mean, I think that you should vote for the person who represents you the most. It is a representative government. But I kind of think that she's sort of the answer to all. And being a woman, again, it is hard to be completely subjective about it, or objective about it, because of what happened with Hillary in 2016, not getting the woman president that I feel was the most qualified candidate. And I feel now we're kind of in that same space, but in with a different candidate who I feel on many levels is actually more qualified, considering what's going on in the world.
What's your biggest fear about Trump if he gets reelected?
Where am I going to move to? Will it be Canada or Mexico?
That's tough because I really like maple old fashions, which they make in Canada, but margaritas in Mexico can't be beat.
Nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. Actually, yeah, I don't know.
What's wrong with Iceland?
It's a little cold. I guess I'll just cross that bridge when I have to come to it. It's going to be difficult to put my head in the sand for 4 years. It was a big suffering time for me, the years that he was president. It was very difficult. Almost had to take antidepressants, but I have dogs and they kind of keep me centered. So hopefully that won't happen.
What's your name again?
Carolyn Romer.
Thank you, Carolyn. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.